Aloha Internet. Welcome to Monday, October 20th, 2025, 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the Bubbles Stock Market Show. Let's start at doing whatever accounts that you have, getting that done. So today we are on October 20th. Log in to let's say you just have a checking account. Log into your checking account and whatever that dollar amount is in there, put it down here. Do you have any credit cards? If you have any credit cards, put your credit card balance down. And then where is that money going to come from? Is it coming from here? And in what time frame? Because if it's going to come from here, then if that 300 is going to be subtracted from here, then that really should, as soon as you're aware that that's going to happen, you should start planning that. And you can do things. That's how you would use, at least start using your monthly budgeting, because to be financially independent with the stock market, you'll have to do stuff like this. It all starts here. So speaking of the stock market, stocks are still overpriced according to the Buffett indicator, and just updated today. And the MMRI is still kind of doing a bit of the same thing. So no major change there. And we're in a situation where that in the MMRI, we're in the red. We're not in the orange. We're in the whatever color this is. This is the orange, and I guess this is the red. We're in the light red, and we're in this area of 200 to 300. We're already in high risk, right? We're just not in extreme risk, but we're definitely in high risk, and we're just sort of in the middle or the lower, like, of the whole high risk area here. See, we're kind of halfway in there, we're like halfway in, but it's kind of been going down. Like, it was a lot deeper. Like this was in the 325, and it's been, going down since then. But that doesn't mean it can't spike up, because things like this, the Schiller PE ratio, which I can't remember a really good one line, one sentence definition for it, but I do remember that this is the mean and the median. This is more like your average numbers, so we're pretty high. The max was 44.19, and we're a little bit away from 44, so not good. Not good if, depending on what our definition of good is. If our definition of good is somehow this 1980s idea of quote unquote stock market integrity and stock market fundamentals and healthy stock market, then maybe not. But I'm trying to avoid putting emotional attachment to these investment outcomes. So I'm attempting to be more diligent on watching how I verbally describe things that I'm thinking in. Oh, it is some work. So Schiller PE ratio kind of up. Unemployment over here, I don't think it's been updated still. So then the put to call ratio, I haven't really found an easy, reliable way. Maybe there's a way in here that I haven't quite figured out yet. And let's look at the overall markets. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised by this overall, um, the four of these. And I wouldn't be surprised if, since there's only three ways it can go, up, down, or sideways, I'm not surprised in this situation. I haven't been surprised that it's been working in here because when I had this big drop day, which was I believe a Friday, then this next coming this wouldn't necessarily be a Monday because these are futures and they start trading on Sundays. So, but let's just say the next candle, the next quote unquote day, because it is a 1 month, 1 day chart. So the next day, um, the price gaps up here. So it closed here and then it gaps up here. So it's the very next opportunity it has to trade. There's this indication that the market price is a bit higher. How much higher? Not sure. And sometimes when this happens, it could come up here and test these highs and for some reason really collapse down here. Who knows? But right now it's up here and it's still sort of testing this range for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 days. So uh, my immediate just by looking at these candles, that's it's not falling apart. I can say that. And then we look at all this other fundamental data, and there's a lot of quote unquote bad, you know, that would be viewed as bad information, like the Buffett indicator or this price. So this might just be like it's not a really it's not the most as far as looking at stocks as an asset class in relationship to other asset classes, stocks are not offering the same value, or you might want to look somewhere else. There's not a whole lot of value in the whole stock sector in this kind of large fundamental approach. I could be a little bit wrong on trying to narrow that down, but that's the way that I'm looking at it at the moment. And then so that's as far as like getting a good deal in the stock market. Not super easy right now. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but the odds are like not in that favor. There, if this number was a lot lower, and however that happens with market cap and GDP, the relationship between these two, if that was, if for some reason that relationship changed and this number was a lot lower, then that's giving us an indication that hey, there's a lot of deals going on in the stock market. Take a look. Could you still get a bad deal even in a time like that? Of course. So, so we're just trying to be um, good money makers. We're trying to make money out of computers. So, and the stock market's here, it's up and running, and there's certain stocks that we have an opportunity. There's a lot of stocks that we have an opportunity to make money with, and then we got handfuls of stocks that we can make money with, and that just give us a general information on the stock market, like the Mag 7 here. Right there. We could make money with these. We could trade any of these in a variety of ways and make money. And sometimes it's going to be really good to do that. And we also are just watching them as far as what is the a little bit deeper, a little more detailed look at these four right here. Uh, we're going into Monday, so this is the daily chart. But let's look at the weekly chart. So now we're looking at 1 year from left to right, and each candle representing 1 week of data. And what kind of moving averages we got here? Let's see. We'll open this up anyways, and looks like we've only have Fang 6 and not Fang. I mean, sorry, Mag 6 and not Mag 7. We're missing something. Might be Amazon. But we have moving averages. We've got a 10. We have a 4, and okay, so these should kind of replicate roughly around a 200-day, uh, a 20-day, and a 50-day, I think. So Apple, same thing, this big drop down, recovering from that. Apple and Google were two of seven stocks that were more uptrending, where five other ones were sideways after the big down move on the other Friday. It kind of made Nvidia go from an uptrending stock it was didn't have a lot of strength to the upside, but it was uptrending to a sideways trend, at least on a 3 month chart. Tesla overall in a year time period, it's up compared to here. 1 year, it's up and hitting possibly have this W formation going on. I see more of a W going on in 1 year than an M. Maybe it could have tried to do an M boom maybe here, but it this time of breaking down, it went up. Now it could of course break down, but as far as what we're seeing here, it looks like more of a W. So we'll have to see if it starts really, which I don't necessarily think. I think we're going to have more. I think I'm going to end up making more premium over the next at least couple weeks to couple months on selling calls than I am. Yeah, I think the safer side is selling calls. So that means I'm not as bullish on the stock market going up quickly. I am bullish on it going up, but just not really quickly right now. I think at least for 1 or 2 weeks, maybe more. I'm not sure. I think good buddy right here is gonna be making more money. So on a 1 year Nvidia on the, we can see it's kind of got this getting a sideways range here, especially if we just look at these 3 weeks. Yeah, it looks pretty sideways-ish through 3 weeks, and then right now it looks like it's just on top of like this the support resistance area. Here's the bottom of it. Here's the top. It looks like it's on the top of it right now, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I could see a slow grind going up higher, just not a quick grind, which is really nice for shorting call premium. Netflix overall, look at that. Looks like a nice uptrend on a weekly chart. Isn't that wonderful? And then Microsoft, uh, it's kind of looks like looks like it's sideways, right? It looks like it's really showing this big sideways range. So it would be interesting to look at doing something like a kind of like a non-directional trade, either like a iron condor or short strangle on this, but with like one with leap options, maybe like 1 year. Look at a variety. Start looking at anything over 1 year, 1 to 2 years, and see what premiums available. And of course, like factoring that in, what would be your exit? Are you gonna hold it until expiration? Because that is going to be taxed differently than if you don't. But if you do hold it to expiration, what are you holding to expiration, and what are you committing yourself to? And it might be easier just to you know look at those long leap options, but still consider it a short-term capital gains in like less than a year type of trade, and tax that short-term capital gains, just to make life easy and simple, not try to hold it over a year just for that long-term capital gains. That's my general viewpoint on how I'm approaching looking at that. This obviously going up nicely, and Apple, looks sideways on a 3 month chart. Is looking, we're seeing this strong trend to the upside, but when you see it over on the whole year, it's sideways, which doesn't really surprise me, since on a 3 month chart, 5 out of 7 are trending sideways. 1 year Tesla, did we already look at that? I think so. I think we went through all of them. All right, so let's move over to let's go to this. All right, we got the S&P 500 here. We got the VIX. This is 1 hour trading after hours. So there's a little bit of buoyancy that I'm noticing so far. And like look at gold. Look at the buoyancy in gold right now. Looks like it's getting ready to pop up. Look at SMCI. right? So these two would be good to watch and see what happens at the end of the close and look at the price, 55.64, a little bit around 400, and then what does it move in one day? What does it move in, if you bought it sometime around this price, but something like that, you're theoretically kind of doing some paper trading without even needing an account open. So where's it going to go to? With that, I want to get to the master trader stuff. So I'll talk to you guys later. Aloha.